Hello everybody, and welcome to today's episode where I'm going to talk about colour in your wardrobe and your sewing and how to get it in and how to make it work. So if that's something you're interested in, please stick around. Hello everybody, so this episode is by demand. In other words, my lovely followers on both YouTube and Instagram have sort of commented to me about the fact that I have quite a colourful wardrobe, and that it's sort of like advice on how to sort of get colour into their wardrobe and how to put colour together. So I'm just going to put a jumper here which I made with two colours, and people saying like, how do you do that? How do you work out what colours go together? And I put just a couple of outfits in while I'm talking so you can see what is inspired people to ask me this. So I just want to start with a caveat. At the moment it's become quite popular to have your colours done, and this shows my age. I remember this being popular before in either the early 2000s or the 90s, can't be sure which. Now I'm not going to have my colours done. It's not because I'm sneery about it. I don't think I need my colours done because I feel that I have worked out for myself through mistakes and trial and error what works for me. And also, if you ever went fabric shopping with me now, you will find me holding a colour up to myself, and if I'm not sure, and I'm either asking the person or wandering off to a mirror. I mostly know, but if I'm not sure, you will find me doing that. I think having your colours done is a really good idea if you're somebody who just doesn't know where to start, or needs a bit of support to be braver, or is stuck in a colour palette that you're just not feeling great with but you don't know how to branch out. I've definitely seen it helpful where people are walking around with a little booklet helping them choose fabric, because there is a lot of fabric out there, and however much we might like a fabric, it can be easy to fall accidentally into buying fabric that's not right for us, rather than buying it because it's right for us and we love it. And I know I did that early on. I was just buying what's lovely rather than what I knew suited me. And I think we kind of have to go through that and out the other side in whatever way we need to do. But let's be clear, when I say what suits us, it's what makes your heart sing when you put it on. Not what is flattering, not what other people like or other people approve of. And that is something I'm very clear about. When you put something on and you look in the mirror, if it makes your heart fill with joy, or you feel happy, or you feel good in it, then that's the right colour for you. Whatever anyone else says, whatever a booklet or whatever anything says, whatever I say today is what works for you. So if you are somebody who likes a monochromatic wardrobe, go you. If you like beiges and muted tones, go you. But today this is about, if you want to branch out more, how to start or how to keep going and that sort of thing. So I'm going to cover several bits here. I'm going to talk a little bit about colour theory. I've purposely chosen this red jumper and no earrings because I have here my lovely sweet selection of necklaces to illustrate a point with you. I'm also going to talk about this amazing pack here, which I'll talk about a bit more in a minute, and also some interesting things. Now you might be thinking, why do you feel you can sit here and talk about this, Sam? The reason I feel I can is because I have an art degree background. I have a fine art degree. I went on to teach art for many years, and also I have learned through living a life of trial and error and helping other people what works, what doesn't work for me, what might work for others. And I've also worn a lot of colour. So there we go. If you want the credentials, there they are. So the first thing we need to think about is what's called the colour wheel. So I'm going to put it up here while I'm talking. So the colour wheel, there are two versions of this. There is one which is used for pixelating TV screens and all of that, and photography and all of that, which is called the RGB. You might have seen that. So that's red, green, blue. Now we don't want that because that's to do with technology of photography and all of that. What we want is the artist's pure colour wheel. And if you go to, I'm trying to think what museum it was, there's a lovely thing about that with the light reflection through the prism. So there's a lovely bit of science behind this. What we're looking at is the primary colours, which are red, blue and yellow. These are called, and you can see them here on the colour wheel as I put it up, these are the primary colours because no other colour can be mixed to make these colours. So these are the pure first level colours. So if we think of someone painting a picture, or anything like that, if you bought just red, blue and yellow, ignoring black and white, but if you had just pure red, pure blue and pure yellow, you could mix all other colours. Now it's important to be aware that there are different tones and different varieties. So you must have seen when you're out and about these different shades of blue. So if we just have a look here, just here. So there is a tonal difference to all three of those. So you can see one of them, that one has more of what I would call like a warmer red base. This one has a more yellowy base, and probably that one too. So this one, it wouldn't matter how much white we added to that, we would probably never be able to make that colour there. And we'd probably never be able to make that colour there. So when we're talking about red, we're talking about this, like proper, pure cadmium pillar box red, not cerise, not any of those other colours. So if we were mixing other colours, we'd want that. Blue, we're talking about what's called cobalt blue, which is that type of blue, not this kind. And yellow is pure sort of sunshine daffodil yellow. Now those three colours on the colour wheel, as you can see in the image here, are like making the thirds. If you mix two of those, you make a colour in between. So now I'm putting that bit up. So if you mix yellow and blue, you make green. So that's why yellow, blue and green work nicely together, because they're part of like a little family. If we mix yellow and red, we make orange. So that's why those three work. And if we mix blue and red, we make purple. So that's why they work together nicely. Now, some colours can feel like they jar against each other. And that's because they're not in that little quadrant. But if we go on and then look at the final part of this wheel, we can then mix what's called the tertiary colours, so the third level colours. So again, if we mix the side-by-side colours, we then get another colour in the middle. Now, the greatest thing of all about the colour wheel is what's called the complementary colours. So the colours opposite each other. Because when we're thinking, why does that colour work so well with that one? If you look at them on the colour wheel, they're opposite. So if you think back to that purple jumper that I had with the gold, look at them on the colour wheel. That purple and the gold are opposite each other. So if we think about like green and red, that lovely Christmas combo, they're opposite each other. If we think about like sort of like a nice cool sort of colour, the blue and the orange are opposite each other. Now, people will often separate the colour wheel into warm and cool, and that's just based on sort of how they're mixed together. Now, you do have what's called shades, tints and tones. So, for example, you can take like orange, and then you can make shades of it. You can make tints of it. So, for example, if you take orange and add more white, it's all a variation of that original orange. So they all work together because you've added lots of white to it. The primary colours together, blue, yellow and red, you make brown, and that's how brown is made. Now, brown is not on the colour wheel. Brown should probably be in the middle because you mix all the colours and it makes brown. Now, my recommendation to you when you start this is get your fabric out and lay things out. Start with plains. You know I love a pattern, but start with plains because it will make things easier. So using my gorgeous jelly sweet collection here, let's just start by putting, and I chose red on purpose because of the strength and that this is a primary colour. So if you think that on the colour wheel, red and green are opposite each other, but we get lots of variations of green. So here we've got the closest I had to like proper green. So if I put this on, you will hopefully see, I'm just going to zoom in for this bit because if nothing else there's sun out there, you will hopefully see how that works. So can you see that works, that red? I should probably tuck that down there to stop that distracting. So you can see there that green works perfectly. Now, one of the things to be aware of when colours get next to each other, they create like a vibration, because remember this is all based on light, and that's why some work better than others next to each other, because of the way they vibrate. Now if I put this one on, see how it just makes it feel muddy. Now that's a beautiful green on its own, but it feels really muddy against that red. And this is what we need to watch out for, is this is because of the kind of green this is. This is a green that's been mixed with more blue, and so we're moving away from the purity of the green and why it doesn't work with this. But now let's put on this minty green and see what we think. See, and again, I think that makes that look quite like meh. But I bet you if I put that on with a pink, we'd feel very different. So I'm going to put that over there and this one over there to show you with a different colour in a minute. Now let's go for red on red. So here I have a darker red. Yeah, so it's not, so if we put that on, because they are different mixtures to create the different reds, that red has a lot of blue in it to get it down. Now that's not working well there, the sunshine, there it is. That red has blue in it to bring it down to that shade. So it just doesn't work together. So monochromatic colour wearing is a lovely thing to do, but you've got to watch out that it doesn't make one of them look sort of dirty. So you're looking for similar balanced ones, so that's not working. So now let's think about the fact that orange is next to red because it's been mixed with yellow to make red. So let's pop on an orange, so it's next door to it. And see how that zings out? Because it's its next door neighbour, and it's in that same place because it's been made with the red. Now I do have some other oranges here that are not naturally pure oranges. They're really quite corally. Can you see that there? So let's see what happens if I put one of these on. My hair is going to be crazy by the end of this. So that, it loses its oomph, but I tell you that against other colours works fabulously. I need to sort those ribbons out on there. So now let's look at pink, because pink and red together has become really popular. But again, we've got to watch out for the kind of pink. So here I've got 3 types of pink. So you've got the more traditional, it's a bit darker than that in real life, baby pink. Then we've got what I would call Barbie pink, and then this one here's where it is like a bluey pink. So let's put on the baby pink first. So it works. I don't love it, but it is that traditional pink and red together. Now if we pop the Barbie pink on, let's see how this works. That does not work as well. So let me do it again. Let me put them both on. So can you see how that one, it works and that one doesn't? And it's not because that's lighter, it's because of the tonal base that's in it. And then if we put on what I would call the more bluey pink, that to me, now you might like that, but that to me does not work. Now last of all, let's just touch on purple. Now purple and red together, it's a really tricky area because they are, purple is made of red with blue, but it doesn't always work with it. So I'm not a big fan of those two colours together. But I'd be interested what you think. Here's a really, really light lilac-y purple. I think that does work a bit better. But can you see it's made me look a bit sort of darker? It doesn't quite work for me. But we have to watch out with yellow as well. Now I haven't got a lovely daffodil yellow one. It's a dream to find one. But These are the two. So this is a really mustardy one, and this is what I would call of a more, it's got a bit of green in there with a bit of white. It's more lemony. You see, that works, and that's because if you think about the fact that you've got blue, red and yellow as the complement, as the primary colours, the three of them work together. Yeah. Now if we put the mustard on, I think it makes the mustard look really dirty. Yeah. Now mustard is gorgeous, and mustards can look absolutely glorious. Look at the purple and the mustard together, and that's because they're complementary on the colour wheel. Yeah, and it makes both of them sing out, doesn't it? So if we do that with some other colours, so this pink is actually one of the most challenging to combine together, but if we take it with the mint green, look how they work together. And if you look at the colour wheel and see where these two are on the colour wheel, so we don't really have pink on the colour wheel because pink is made with red with lots of white in it. But if we think about the two colours opposite each other of red and green, and we think about the fact that both of these would be then opposite each other because of where these would be, then you get these two, and that's why they work so well together. So play with it, see what you find, but what I generally find is you will suddenly lay colours together that really zing off each other. So I absolutely love lilac, and I think lilac goes brilliantly with baby pink, but I also think it goes really nicely with minty green. But look, put that against there, not good. Look on the fabrics that you like, which colours you think work nicely together on them. It's really fun to play with those because some just look really dirty and weird, and others just really zing off. So what I'd like to do now is go on to this pack. Now this pack is free during March. So if you're watching this during March, do whiz on and get this. Let me now put pink glasses on with red everything else. It's by Katie Courtman, and she has a website and everything and an Instagram, and she's done this thing called Wear Happy Colour. And during March there's a challenge to take part in. So if you're thinking I want to get into wearing colour, March is a great time to do this because she's doing like challenges each week, and this fabulous pack which she's made free. There is the colour wheel again, so you can see here what I was talking about the colours that work with each other, that are opposite. There's that lovely purple mustard combo, but how the next door neighbour colours, these are good for monochromatic wearing or contrast, like here, look, if you wear those or wear those together. So this pack's brilliant because she talks about what your favourite colour is. People say they're often fearful of wearing colour. That's why I'm doing this, because that's what people have said to me. But she hosts this challenge, and what you're looking for is colours that make you happy. I've been working this winter on making sure my work from home wardrobe is as joyful as my wearing out in the world wardrobe, because it brings me joy to feel colourful all of the time. And so many people said to me, I wish I could be more colourful, I wish I could get colour in. So I will do some tips at the end on how to get started. She talks about learning the rules before you break them, hence why I just taught you about the colour wheel, because you don't know what you're playing with. So she's got a bit on the colour wheel in here as well. She talks about the same as me, primary, secondary and tertiary. She does it with outfits, which is great. Then she talks about monochromatic, and that's what I've been talking about wearing colours all in one range. So I'm going to put an outfit in here of me in a monochromatic outfit. Monochromatic is when it's all one hue, so you're getting lighter and darker versions of, like, say, red or blue or purple. This is where you can then have a little play with a bit of pattern in there, because as long as it's all in that one group. So then I think March, week 1, the challenge is to wear monochromatic. So she's got some great pictures here to show. It's a great one if you're wanting to get started, this challenge is a brilliant way to do that. Now, she then goes on to talk about I struggle with this word, analogous colour scheme. This is the colours, like I've said, that are next to each other. Now, I don't use all the fancy words, but you know how I was showing you ones next to each other? So you can pull them out in a section. So she's got a really good bit if you want to know more about that, like here where I was saying to you, like red, orange and yellow, or those blues and greens together. So she's helping you to think, how do I combine them? And I'm pretty sure week 2 is about that, to wear that challenge. And then she's got what I said about, which is the complementary colour scheme and how they're opposite each other. And they don't jar, because what they're doing is they're vibrating beautifully together. So that's why I love like the golds and the purples, the violets together. So here she's got some, like I was saying. So look, you've got like the orange and the blue, the yellow and the pink, and the red and blue, green and the strong pink there. And then she talks about split complementary colours. So she's gone one level beyond me. So this is if you really want to go for this. She's shown how you've done that, and then you go to either side. Okay, so this for me is where it gets quite in depth, but you can see how that works. What I would say is, if you've not got the confidence to lay colours together and see if they work, following something like this can help you get started. Over time, your eye can get used to what feels, what works. I think sometimes we've got taught out of our natural instinct to that because of the fashion industry, because of fast fashion, because of other people telling us not to trust our intuition, all of those things. And I can get on my big old bandwagon there about being taught not to trust our intuition. But truthfully, if you look at something and it doesn't feel like it settles with you, then it's probably because they're the wrong colours together. Now, that doesn't mean you can't play with that, and that's what split complementary is about, is playing with it and challenging it. But what also happens is, it just start with trying to pair up 2. If you're still finding it hard to get your eye to feel that, there's ways to do that. Go to an art gallery. There's loads of free art galleries all over the world and all over the UK where you can go and look at what colours feel good, where your eye feels settled in the picture, what works nicely together. Go into a shop and look at the displays and look at what colours they've put together on the displays, because what they want to do is create a display that appeals to you, and doing that is using colour theory. Even if the person putting that display is just following instructions and they don't know, that's what they're doing. Go into a home decorating department or online and look at the colours that are put together. Start to help your brain and your eye, if you're struggling with that, to get used to seeing things that look good together, and start consciously being aware that that feels good when you look at it. Now, she then starts talking about faux split complementary colours. This is great if you really want to go for this. I'm not going to talk about this today, but if you want to, she's really taken it to that level. But what I do want to mention is, and look, she's got a quiz and all sorts here to help you. So if you need that help with answering it, she's done a little colour together quiz there. And then she starts talking about neutrals. So this is where we want to talk about black, white, and those neutrals like beige and brown. So she explains it in her way. I'm going to explain it to you. If your wardrobe doesn't have a huge amount of colour at the moment and you want to get it in there, and you want to start, how do I start? My tip is to take what you've already got and add a coloured handbag, coloured shoes, or a coloured piece of jewellery. Okay, we'll look at that, the way I've picked those colours up, how they work together. Yeah, so that's a completely different look as well, isn't it? Yeah, so just by grabbing yourself, now I've bought every single one of those necklaces that I'm wafting around there has come from a charity shop. They're out there, you can buy them brand new, you can search for them, but I always find them in charity shops. I bought like 1 or 2 off Etsy when there's a particular colour I've really wanted. Grab yourself a pink necklace and hold it up against things you already have and challenge yourself to wear it with one of them. Because if you're nervous about this, this is a great entryway in. Or a pair of tights. So you know how much, if you one of my watchers, I love snag tights. So get yourself a pair of tights that just a bit of the colour is poking out at the bottom of your dress or your skirt with your shoes. Yeah, and start stepping in to colour. I have an entire rainbow of tights and I love that bit of colour popping out. But if you're nervous, that's a great way to get a bit of colour in. The other thing to do is get a handbag. Get yourself a bright red handbag and work out which of your coats it feels good with or which of your jackets it feels good with, and start wearing a bright red handbag. Because if you're not ready to wear, like me, a whole bright red dress, a handbag, a necklace, a pair of tights, or even a pair of shoes, supermarkets like Sainsbury's often sell in the sale pairs of shoes that are, I got something like £5, like a blue, cobalt blue pair of flat shoes the other summer. Pop a pair of shoes on with your neutral outfit and just see what wearing the blue shoes does. When you're ready to start doing a bit of clothing in a much brighter colour, so I'm not saying you're not wearing pattern or anything, but in a brighter colour, perhaps start with making yourself a top, a cardigan or a skirt. Maybe not go full dress to start with. And if you're going to go patterned, because that's what often happens, isn't it? We see these bright, gorgeous patterns. Work out which of your plains that you've got, your neutrals, your blacks, your whites that are in your wardrobe, will work with it, and have a go. So I'm going to put in here like a skirt and how I change like the neutrals tops with it. Or if you're thinking, how do I get a bigger piece of colour into my wardrobe? Make yourself a coat. There's some gorgeous boiled wool out there, but pick a colour that you love when you hold it up to yourself and look in the mirror, because suddenly then you've got this lovely colourful piece that will go with over the top of your outfits to wear. I love a coloured coat because when you go out and it's grey, everyone's in these dark, dull coats, and I'm walking along in my bright purple coat. I love it because it makes me feel so joyful. And then I'll see like a pop of a sleeve poking out and I suddenly see a combo I really like with the purple. You might think, what scarves go? The great thing is, you know, just you choose make yourself a scarf out, a bit of a scrap of fabric or something. So she then's talking about neutral and muted colours. Now, here is the bit that us as sewists get into tricky area with, is these mixing prints and visual balance. There is a really great book called Leopard is a Neutral by Erica Davies where she talks about how to do this. I would say also think of stripes as a neutral, because stripes work with so many other patterns. So using a stripe and putting it under another pattern, or a stripe for a top and then a pattern skirt, works really well. I would also say you could think of polka dots as a bit of a neutral as well, because they generally work. And when you're trying to combine patterns, Trini from Trini Woodall, who was from Trini and Susanna all those years ago, if you remember, she talks a lot about this as well. So if you haven't seen her, she's got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. She talks about how what you're looking for, like I was talking about with the necklaces, is that similar tonal range. So if I hold these up, that's in this pack, these are two completely different patterns, but see they're both blues and yellows. That to me, I don't think that works. But if we look at that one, that works because that colour in there is this colour here. That works because stripe works with almost every pattern. Play with it. Hold your fabrics up against each other. So then she's got some tips. So she says, wear it on the bottom. If you're starting with colour, put it on the bottom, because then if it doesn't suit your face, you're not having that issue. So wear your colour on the bottom half to start with. If you make your clothes, you can just make sure that the colour frames your face, like the collar, looks nice, and make the rest of the garment in your chosen favourite. That's a good tip, isn't it? Because if you've got a pattern that you really like but you're worried about how it looks with your face, make a collar in a plain or something, and that will help balance it out. Her last tip, she says, who cares, life is too short. I'm with her there on that. And she's saying about wearing it with it as accessories as well. So she and I are on the same page. There is a great page as well called says let's play a game, where you pick which one works. This is what I'm saying about practicing, getting used to what works, and we might not agree on that, and that's fine. I'm seeing what I think works there and there, but you might have your own opinion. Great news is she's given some answers, and most clothes in the book were made by me. How nice is that, isn't it? A few were store-bought. Her last thoughts, she says, if somebody makes a comment about your colourful outfit, reply with confidence. People often say to me, I could never wear that. I get that too. Which is usually followed by, it looks good on you. I would take that as a backhanded compliment, or I would just say, why, thank you. What is exactly what I do. Sometimes I say, yes, you could. You just have to feel confident about your outfit choices and no one will question you. That is so true. When people say to me, oh my goodness, I love your colour. Oh, I'm so jealous you wear colour. I know it's because they want to be brave enough to do it, and it's often that. Walk with confidence, smile and rejoice in your fun, colourful outfit, and give zero cares about what anyone else's opinion is. I agree with that. I've been told by my stepdaughter before that the coat I have is like a Willy Wonka coat. I don't care. I love it. She keeps folders. Yeah, Pinterest and Instagram. Save the ones you like so that you can go back and refer to that. I'm always looking at the ways colours and things go together. I really hope that's been useful. As I say, if you're nervous about getting started, just make yourself a red t-shirt or a pair of like blue trousers to get started. If you're not ready to make things, then go for the bags, the necklaces and the shoes. But also, if you already have a stash full of colour and pattern and you're worrying about how to mix it together, make yourself some bold plains and like a nice green, a nice sort of blue, because suddenly you'll be able to wear all the tops and things with them, because that's the point I was in, where none of my lovely colourful stuff went together. I had too many different patterns going on. And remember, leopard looks great with a lot of lovely colours. So just have a look, start saving things, making screenshots, making a folder on your phone. If you like all of this and you're like me and you like a few facts and things, I got this book for Christmas as a present a few years ago, The Secret Lives of Colour. It is a fabulous book where it talks about, so first of all, can we just take a moment for the fact that it goes through all the shades of colour in there, and for each one it tells you its proper name. So for example, here's amber, and then it gives you facts about it. Some of them are like the original use of that colour, or how that colour is made, or where, like this ginger, where the ginger plant comes from. So it's one of those books you can dip in and out of it, like here. So let's go to the green. So if you're struggling with the words of how to describe things as well, I'm just getting to the green section, bear with. So here, when we go to green, one of my most favourite colours, there's a whole load of phrases of the way green is described. So you've got verdigris, absinthe, emerald, Kelly green, Shields green, terra verta, avocado and celadon. And they've done them in the colour that they are. And then if you're looking for a book recommendation, The Secret Lives of Colour is a fabulous one. If you're looking for help with this, as I said, brilliant pack. I will try and link it below for you. But I hope that you have enjoyed advice on how to get colour in. Maybe just start, sorry, I realised the light's reflecting on there. Maybe just start with making yourself a lovely pink, orange, blue, yellow cardigan and start popping it over other things so that you can just enjoy that colour. Life can be hard. Let's bring joy in where we can. Have a good week. I will catch you soon.